Righto, tellyo there champs, and here it is, the ultimate gaming monitor from Alienware, or is it? We will soon find out. And yes, QD-OLED is here, finally. This is of course the Alienware 34-inch curved QD-OLED gaming monitor. Yes, it is an ultra-wide. The specific model is the AW3423DW. Wolf. Now currently I'm gaming with an Alienware monitor, the 27-inch 1440p 240Hz monitor. And is this a downgrade in some ways? Because I'm going from 240Hz to 185Hz. But this thing has 10 times faster response speed because it is OLED and it has a better panel. Of course, the promise of QD-OLED is nice, sharp, crisp OLED with better brightness than WOLEDs, better color fidelity, especially at the higher brightness levels, and of course all the other advantages you get with OLED, with not many disadvantages that you usually get with OLED. Hopefully burn-in is not an issue, the extra brightness, and definitely on paper it should make my 27-inch 1440p 240Hz Alienware look like it's in the Stone Age. We'll soon find out. I'll put them side to side in my full review. This is my unboxing. We're going to unbox it and I'm going to do some tests. I'm going to test the reflections on the display. I'm going to go through some settings, etc. Setup. Make sure you subscribe because I have a lot of videos on this. So anyway, let's crack on and get into it. Now I went on Dell's website and pestered the salesman on there every single day, or the saleswoman, whatever it was, and I pestered them every single day. Where's my QD-OLED? Please hurry up, hurry up. And I got this quick. It only went up on the Australian website yesterday. This is the back of the box. Of course, you probably know the specs. It's an ultra wide, 1000 nits peak brightness. It is HDR, 0.1 millisecond response time, and a typical brightness of around 250 nits. We will test that. Now I've got to say, I'm not actually a big fan of ultra wides, but I'm willing to have my mind changed. And the reason why I don't really like ultra wides is because I've tried them out, but usually they're not tall enough, right? And I've tried the the G9 from Samsung. Yeah, it's great that it's wide, but it's not tall enough. And I always thought, well, why don't I just get a big gaming display that's as wide as an ultra wide but taller, 16:9? Like, I get the best of both worlds then. So we do get a calibration report. Yeah, look at that, it's perfect, perfect. We do get HDMI, and this is HDMI 2.0. So that means it's limited to 8-bit 100Hz. So you won't be getting HDR through HDMI. So you have to go DisplayPort. So I know it's pointless, but I will test this with the PS5 and Xbox, of course. That'll be in another video, but of course I'm gonna hook it up to my PC now. This is for the USB hub. This is mini DisplayPort to DisplayPort. Your power lead, you can VESA mount it as well. So this is an Alienware box. What is in here? Okay, we have some literature. I was hoping there was like a cloth in there or something. But anyway, this will be the stand, of course, and it doesn't stick out too much from the monitor, so it's nearly flush. This is the stand, or the stand arm at least. And this is the quick start showing us how to assemble it, and I'll do that. I'm a bit scared. So there it is. I do not want that to drop out. Oh, ultra wide, baby. Yeah, you can see it's not that tall, of course, ultra wide. I can see that straight away, so I'm going to have to sit fairly close to it. This is indeed upside down. So you can actually get a 3-year premium panel replacement warranty sort of thing. So that means if you get burn-in, etc., they'll replace the display. Now, that's an option. It's like a $100 option here in Australia. So yeah, that is what it is. Let's put it together. So let's first connect the base of the monitor to the arm here. That's just one screw under there, super simple. So the correct way to do this is leave this in the foam. So leave the display in the foam and you just put that in there like so. I think that's just about it. So that just means now I have to just put this back cover on, which goes under here. I won't do that yet because I want to show you all the ports, etc. So there you can see there, that's the screw that connects the stand. You can see the one button there to release the stand from the monitor itself. We can see here, that's where the power goes on the bottom there. On the other side, we have all the connections there, the two HDMI 2.0s, the DisplayPort, the USB, etc. All right, so now let's have a look at this glorious beast. And I've got to say, Alienware are the only ones that do this sort of science fiction sort of gaming aesthetic right. Look at that, that is beautiful. Come on, look at that. And it's gorgeous from the back. Yeah, there's the cooling there. You will need cooling, QD-OLED to get those brightness levels. Arm's very nice, it's beautiful. Nice, matte coat in there. 34-inch, it looks the part, it looks beautiful. With the cover there, we'll put that on. Well, these are always a bit fiddly, these things. And there we go, that's nice and flush now. Of course, we get height adjustment, you know, you get the swivel and tilt, so you can go forward and back as well. So you get all the ranges of movements there. So you're going to be able to get this in the position you want, no problems there. So let's have a look quickly in all its glory here. And we'll just shine a light on it actually in a sec. Yep, it's a bit glossy. I can see that. Definitely compared to my Alienware 27-inch, it's a little bit glossy there. The reflections don't look that bad. They look pretty good. The curve doesn't seem to be really big. Alright, so I'm just going to shine a light on it. I'll show you on a 27-inch matte display later. Yeah, that seems pretty good. And these things are a bargain. They're QD-OLED, new display technology, right? And you see Apple's monitor, it costs more than this, and it's like LED display. Like, come on, QD-OLED, the latest tech, the latest display tech. And I've got to say, I don't think glare or glossiness will be a worry here. It looks really well controlled. So here's the 27-inch with the matte display. I'm a bit cramped in here, but let's try and do a size comparison compared to the 27-inch. I think the 27-inch is still taller. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not a big fan of ultra wides. Well, hey, we'll see. All right, so let's have a look at the OSD. And you got the nipple underneath here. You can see there, you have the settings up the top, and then you have these menu parts here. I just go to there, so I'll push up, and that'll take me to the main menu. So if we have a look here, we have presets. So if we have a look, presets, creator, first-person shooter, MOBA, RPG, sports, game 1, game 2. I usually use it in FPS mode. Game enhance on and off, dark stabilizer, you might need that if you have it in SPS mode. HDR, true black, peak 1000. Oh, you can get the, I'll just change it to peak 1000. Okay, and I might just go into Windows and turn HDR on. Okay, HDR is on, and as usual, when you turn HDR on in Windows, it looks crap. That's just how Windows is. I don't know what's going on there. So probably you want to have HDR off. We'll get into that in the review. So anyway, for now, we'll just keep it in standard. Anyway, it's in standard mode. Brightness and contrast, I think you know what that is. The Alienware FX, that's the lighting on it. I'll show that in the review. Audio, menu, okay, English, blah, blah, blah. Personalize. So you can put some dark stabilizer, input source, volume, yep, and others. So yeah, pixel refresh and all this sort of stuff. Factory reset, okay, that's HDR, looks a lot better, putting it in HDR 400. Of course, once you look at HDR content, it's completely different. It'll look a lot better, but it doesn't seem to have any overdrive set in there. Maybe it doesn't need it because it's an OLED. It's the OSD. So let's do a HDR test. So Windows is set in HDR mode. The display is set to peak 1000 nits. You can see there, that window there is HDR, and it looks like the rest is SD. So let's see how it plays HDR content. And I can tell that's HDR straight away. Hopefully you can. This is one of my HDR videos. Nice, look at that. Beautiful OLED, deep blacks, HDR. Woof, that looks amazing. It really does look amazing. So I want to show you something. Look here, that's SD mode, that's HDR. SD, HDR, all right? You can see the difference. I'll play it. Beautiful HDR. We'll just skip this bit. Look at that, nice HDR, nice deep blacks. OLED, QD-OLED looks amazing. Look at that peak brightness at the back there, it looks pretty bright. And I'll go to the SD mode now and have a look at the difference. SD just looks so flat. You know, the luminance isn't as good, you can tell. Yeah, nowhere near as good as the HDR mode. So that should give you an idea of how good HDR is. Okay, so I need more time to go through all these modes, but this is in creator mode and it's on HDR. And what it says here is, yes, 175 Hertz. It says 1060 nits peak brightness, but it says 8-bit with dithering. It doesn't say 10-bit. Can I get it in a 10-bit mode? Well, I'll have to wait and see and go through all the settings, etc. But as far as I know, in creator mode with HDR enabled, 1000 nits peak brightness enabled in this, we're only getting 8-bit. So yes, you will get that 250 nits sort of on the whites there, but what it's telling me now, I'll put it in HDR 400 mode and it's telling me a peak nits of 427 nits and 8-bit dithering as well, which means 8-bit dithering, a lot of people say it's 10-bit anyway, but it's not really a true 10-bit. Even though the panel may be 10-bit, it may be a limitation of G-Sync or something like that, I don't know. So it does look like in creator mode you cannot have HDR on, or you can have it on but it's grayed out. So if you want that wider color gamut for creator, now I've got to say, compared to the 27-inch, this is next level, and this is in HDR mode. It actually looks better in HDR 400 mode. This is 1000 nits peak brightness mode as well, but it looks a lot better than the 27-inch. Let's see a HDR game and see what happens. And have a look at that. That looks glorious if you ask me. It's in HDR mode. HDR 10 is on, so yeah, that looks really good. I can see the deep blacks on the left. I can see the bright sunlight there. It looks really good, and let's see, it's an RTX 3090, and have a look here. What are we getting? 70 FPS, and this is ultra settings, and HDR 10 is enabled. So I've got to say, that looks next level. Like, compared to the 27-inch LED display, it just looks so lush. Just the colors look so good, you know, blacks pop. And this is in the RPG mode. I'll go through some of the modes. The only way I could unlock the brightness slider was actually in creator mode, and creator mode is not available. As you can see there, it's not available because I've got HDR on. So I'll put it in standard mode now. That's standard. Let it go away. Oh, let's just, sorry. That's standard mode. This is FPS mode. Looks a bit brighter there. It doesn't look as contrasty in FPS mode. I would have to use the dark stabilizer probably. Let's go MOBA mode or RTS mode. And the original mode I had it in, which was RPG. I think that looks better if you're just doing, you know, stuff like this, flight simulator. You don't want it in FPS mode or whatever like that. That looks really good in RPG mode. I mean RPG mode. I'll just put it in sports for a laugh. There's sports. There you go. And now what I'll do is the screen will go blank, but now we'll turn it to HDR True Blacks. See what happens there. It's just going to go off. And because I've got HDR mode on in Windows, I will not have access to the creator mode as well. So alright, so this is not as bright. I can see straight away that's not as good as it was before in terms of the peak brightness here, and it doesn't look as contrasty, to be honest. But we'll just go through those modes again. Alright, so let's go to standard mode. Standard mode. FPS mode. Obviously that's going to be best if you're playing first person shooters, probably have the lowest latency, etc. MOBA mode, and this is again in HDR 400 now, not the peak 1000 nits brightness. And RPG mode, and we'll just go to sports mode, and there's sports mode. So yeah, we'll just leave it there for now. I've got to say, I think the RPG is best for, you know, stuff like flight simulator. Let's go to HDR peak 1000 again. That does look better with the game that's in HDR mode. It would be different if it's an SD game. As you can see there, the brightness slider is locked. I can only unlock that in creator and not in HDR mode so far. I'll have to go through it and see. And there you go, HDR QD-OLED. Looks amazing, very lush. I'm not sure about the ultra wide. Stay tuned for my full review. But anyway, hope I helped you out here. I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Tally ho!